Welcome back to Late Entry, your favorite podcast. We got a very special bonus episode for you guys tonight, covering all of the free agent and trade and NFL news that's been going on right now. We are hosted as always by RBF Kyle.
How we doing, late entry family?
We got a little cameo from our favorite hashtag New Falcons GM.
What's going on? The boys are back in town.
And as always, your boy
W
Double
intro.
Dose. I almost said your boy Late Entry. So there's been a lot of moves, and so what we're going to do today, instead of bogging down a regular episode with all of these moves, we're just dropping all the information in one episode for y'all. Everything you need to know about NFL free agency and the trades and everything, we got you covered right here. So our first big chunk of this is going to be the running back market. Starting off with Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. Take her away, Toph.
Yeah, man. Like I said, K-Dub, he's hot right now. He got the motion. Just came off of a outstanding playoff run. Your Super Bowl MVP. He probably went to the best situation that he could have gotten there. You got paid, and you're joining, a team that, is usually playing for the Super Bowl. Probably one of the biggest needs that they need for that team, just from like a stability standpoint. Of course, you can need, more wide receivers. Travis Kelce, he ain't getting no younger. But like I said, if you could get a consistent running game, pair with Patrick Mahomes, you know what he's going to do. I think that's the best plan for action right now without, spending a massive amount of money. Because like I said, you're going to get, probably a new tight end, new receivers in the draft, some new DBs. Like I said, I love Kenneth Walker to that team. You know what you're going to get. He's a tough runner, north or south, down the hill. He's going to run you over. It's basically what the Chiefs need, man. So it's a blessing for them. K-Dub, go ahead and tote that thing down there in Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree. I think huge move for KC. I think you're getting, what was the contract? How much is he making per year on this? Do you know?
I think it's 450, 4-year 50,
Okay,
I
4 year
believe,
50.
something
Yeah.
around that range.
So you're paying a little higher end on the running back market because he had such a good end to the season, right? But if you're the Chiefs, I think you'd rather do that than go and take a chance on another rookie. You're not getting Jeremiyah Love. You go for the guy that has the hot hand, is basically being pushed out by the young buck, Charbonnet, Yeah, and it hasn't been working with Pacheco as your workhorse because he's been injured, really, and so time to start something new. I think this is great for them. He's good in the pass game. I don't think the Seahawks really utilized him in that way, but KC loves to workhorse a running back and give him 20 to 25 touches a game. I could really see that happening for KW as long as he stays healthy too. Him becoming the next workhorse in this league.
Yeah, I think that arguably, I'm not saying definitive number one. Arguably, this is the best / most impactful move that any team has made this offseason, in my opinion. I think that everyone, apparently, other than Seattle, knew that Kenneth Walker was a very, very, very good, if not great, running back. Uh, going back to Michigan State, and then he came into the league and was balling. And they said, what would be great for our team? Let's just blow it up with adding Charbonnet to it. And everyone in the world knew that Kenneth Walker is better than Charbonnet. And I understand that the cap is what the cap is, and you got to make some decisions. But the Seahawks have now decided to let go the Super Bowl MVP in favor of a guy that I don't think anyone thinks is better and is coming off of a season-ending injury. So we'll see what that looks like for the Seahawks. But for the Chiefs, they have needed a running back so badly. They had Kareem Hunt, and tell me if I'm missing anybody. They had Kareem Hunt when he was amazing. Let him go, obviously, due to his issues, not bringing it back up. Then you go to guy from LSU. What was his name?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Clyde
Yep.
Edwards-Helaire. Basically a bust. Then you go to Pacheco. And that has not worked out either due to a mixture of being injured and being kind of ass. He's just not a game changer at all. So they've been just duct taping it together and just adding pieces to it. It's like when your bumper is on the car and it's just kind of hanging off, and you just keep hitting another piece of duct tape on it. We put Kareem Hunt back in there. We put that had someone else too. I can't think of who the other running back was, and then Pacheco. And it's just we're piecing it together. So for you to get a real, true number one running back and add that back to the team, it might be the biggest thing that they need. Obviously, they lost a very important guy that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but I think Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs is going to elevate the offense in a way that they have been hurting for years. Um, and then that's going to segue into our next move, where they were able to get rid of Pacheco and send their fucking trash over to the Lions. Kyle is the ginormous Lions glazer. Why don't you start with this one?
Yeah. Obviously don't love this move. We got a little bit for Demo, I guess, and then we signed Pacheco to a poverty deal, basically, in relation to what we would have signed Demo to. I think like he was going to just be asking for too much in an extension, and we got a younger guy, more injury prone, less of a game breaker, but still a young guy that I think honestly runs more similarly to like Gibbs style than Demo. So maybe that could just help the O line, the young O line that we have, kind of stay with like a uniform, like of where to be, on what spots to be. Because I know our O line's gonna need a little help from the run game. So we're gonna have to have a couple guys that can make a little bit of something without much, And so hopefully we get Pacheco of 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago now in the Super Bowl versus Pacheco of last season. I got to say the guy was very excited. He dropped 2 F-bombs in his first Lions press conference, talking about how excited he was and his reaction to being like a prospect, or for the Lions to be thinking of him. He said he had 8 total teams that were calling and ringing his line. Who knows if that's true, but he said he chose the Lions out of all of them. I don't know if that's because we offered him the most or because he actually wants to be here, but I'm excited to see his mentality. Excited. I'm excited for the couple of moves we made. Just talking general about the Lions, but yeah, I do think we've got more work to do as free agency progresses in order to be ready for next season. Otherwise, I'm looking at this as like this is a gap year now, and we're wasting a year of all these guys' contracts. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know too much about anything, so I could be dead wrong.
Man, his ass should be excited. You just got basically kicked out of a supermodel's house, and then while you were walking home with your knapsack with all your belongings in it, a B-list celebrity just pulled up and picked you up. Like you left one of the best potential places to win more Super Bowls and went to another team that's basically on the fringe of being there. And if this was not this year or last year, someone that you'd be like, oh, you're right up there with it, the best of the best on there. So obviously the
Right.
Lions got some stuff to work through. I'm not excited about this at all. To me, it's a situation of, and we talked about this also with the Lions, unfortunately, with the Demo trade. But when we got that lineman back, and I was like, if you have a team like this that and the Texans that are so bad at offensive line, and they're willing to give up a lineman, gotta be ass. If you
Mm-hmm.
got a team like the Chiefs that needed a running back and let Pacheco go, that's all I got to say about it. On to you, Toph.
Yeah, but they got a
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP out of it though. Like it's a little
Pacheco?
different than them just. Well, I'm saying the Chiefs went and got a Super Bowl MVP to then get rid of their 7th round draft pick. That's a little different, I think, than the way you just described it.
I mean, I understand that, and I'm not even going to turn this into a debate. All I was saying is the fact that we just lost a guy in David Montgomery who, if Gibbs was to unfortunately get hurt and miss time, Montgomery's going to just keep that shit moving. If Gibbs gets hurt now and we got Pacheco, I'm watching a different game. Like this shit, not for real, but you know what I mean. He's not going to do anything other than maybe run for 2-3 yards twice a game. Like
All right.
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not a Pacheco guy.
All right. I guess. Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
we'll see. Because I'm not a believer, but sorry, Toph. Go ahead.
Nah, you're good. I mean, I know y'all the Lions fans, so y'all gotta, speak your talk there. The way I look at it, I mean, like I said, Pacheco, he's not there to, carry the load, be the number one guy. Heck, he might not even make it, out of training camp. Because obviously the Lions are going to probably draft another running back. I think, as we kind of saw last year, Gibbs was kind of more that feature person. It's kind of like what I was saying, in the off season. I was like, with as good as Jahmyr Gibbs is, I think you got to give him the max amount of touches as you can. Running backs don't have a long shelf life anyway, so unfortunately, the Lions are basically going to, work Gibbs to the ground. People forgot that Demo was drafted by the Bears. He was their guy, but he just, couldn't stay healthy. Had all kind of ankle injuries. But like I said, if he was staying healthy, I don't think he would have ever left the Bears. Like I said, Demo was definitely a guy that could have been any team starter. Like I said, Pacheco, I don't think it's going to last through training camp. So I know you guys are excited about it. Like I said, I don't think he'll be there too long. He's easily replaceable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
I would have been more excited. I had to look these numbers up before I said something like this. And we're gonna talk about him in a second. I'm not trying to jump ahead, but I was gonna say I'd have much rather seen us get someone like a Tyler Algier or somebody. But then I just looked these numbers up, not even close to the same.
Yeah.
Not
No.
even close to the same. So we'll save the Algier stuff, but move on to Demo to the Texans. Um, I'm big fan of his. Back when he was with the Bears, loved him when he was with us. Very sad to see him go. Um, Toph, what you think about his impact with the Texans?
Man, Demo's a beast, man. I was really just watching a reel, of that guy. I I think of somebody at the Cowboys. He just absolutely leveled that person. Oh no, it was Witherspoon from the Seahawks.
Oh yeah,
Demolished him. And we
Yeah.
know Witherspoon
it's
is
my
that dude. I
favorite
said,
Demo
oh
play
my
ever.
goodness. Yeah, I mean Demo, he's a beast. I saw that they just released Joe Mixon as well too. When they Mixon, I do love me some Joe Mixon. Like I said, running back shelf life, you really probably got like 4 or 5 years to kind of really, hit your stride. Mixon, we've probably seen the end of him, but you give Demo on the Texans, now their offensive line is atrocious. So he ain't gonna have the same, running lanes that he had in Detroit. But like I said, I think the Texans, they're in win now mode. They got to get the players that they can. They can't overpay as well too. But you got to love that talent. That team is ready to win now. That defense is Super Bowl ready. The offense just has to, you don't even got to carry. You just got to be sustainable in there. Pull it. Sam Darnold, just don't lose the game. That's all they got to do. So Demo, he gonna do his thing though. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kyle?
um, yeah. I think he's gonna thrive in Texas versus what he had in front of him here. He just wasn't gonna be getting the same volume that he's gonna get there. If he has anything left in the tank to like offer as a workhorse or as your number one guy, like this is his chance to do it right now. To me, like I was saying it last year to some friends, but I really didn't want to believe it. Um, and whatever, fans can say what they will because they can say I'm saying this now that he's gone, but after he got back from his injury in the 2024-2025 season, um, he just did not have, and it was a leg injury, and he did not have the same explosiveness that whole year. And I don't know if the Lions, and I think I might have even mentioned this when we had Matt on a couple of weeks ago or whatever, when we talked about this last, but uh, I maybe the Lions saw something from that explosiveness that he was lacking now since that injury, and just saw like, okay, the writing's on the wall that like it's a ticking time bomb before he can't do it at the same level anymore, and so they short him off. That being said, I know Demo, I know his mentality. This new start for him, it's gonna light a freaking fire under his belly, and he's gonna run hard for the Texans next year. I guarantee it. He's gonna give it everything he's got.
What do you guys think this does to Woody Marks?
I
I
think it
think Woody,
makes him
that's a
change of pace a
weird
little
one.
bit. I think, like, I don't know, probably what Demo was to the Lions last year is what, like, he gets like a 39% snap share, 42%, somewhere in there.
I'm gonna say 70-30.
70
Yeah, somewhere.
to the
Like
Woody Marks.
70% Demo, 30% Woody
Yeah,
Marks.
I could see that too.
Do you think that's because they don't believe in what he marks then, or?
I think it's just a fact of, where the Texans are at right now. Like I said, you just got to win now and there. Now, obviously, you don't want to run, Debo to the ground. You just saw what happened to Joe Mixon. It's like I said, it's always better to have, two guys rather than just one person in there. I mean, Demo's definitely more, power. He definitely has some finesse to it, but Woody Marks is more faster. Isn't the same physicality as Demo has. I think it's just, a great value, Sonic and Knuckles kind of thing. I don't want to put that, nickname to them, but like what Kyle said, a change of pace in there.
Okay.
Yeah, Woody, he got to move over.
He had a crazy rookie season. Every time he was healthy, things went pretty well. But he left, I think, every single game with an injury. Like, I think 17 of 17. Don't quote me on that. I think he literally left 17 of 17 games with some sort of injury. Whether he
That's
came
that
back or
Texans
not,
O line.
that's the point. But yeah, that's crazy. So hopefully Demo can steady the ship over there for them. Let's talk about the guy that I teased a second ago, Tyler Allgeier, signing a deal with the Cardinals. The Cardinals have done everything they can do to make sure that Trey Benson does not see the field. They brought James Conner back, and they got Allgeier. They said Trey Benson will not prosper as long as I have anything to say about it. Kyle, what was your thoughts when you saw this? Hey,
Honestly,
I gotta say real quick before you go, I gotta say, as a guy that's been holding Trey Benson
Hey,
dynasty
I
since
used to be
every
that
season,
guy.
all last season, and was like, hey, you know what, bruh, you
I
will
hopped off that
never.
train a long time ago. I said, yeah,
I'm
I saw the
saying,
writing on the wall.
you
I'm
had to you
saying.
had to convince me to hop off the DeMarcado train, Spence, because you had Benson, and you're like, if they ain't gonna start him, they ain't gonna start DeMarcado. Drop that motherfucker.
And he got punched by the coach. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
DiMarcado did.
Yeah, he took
Oh,
one to
you
the
know what?
chest from
Yeah,
Gannon
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
early on. Uh, yeah, so Algier, honestly, I think Cardinals get a steal out of this. Like, you get, like, he is a guy that he's 25, 26 years old, but he really hasn't had a lot of, like, the volume that a lot of good running backs at his age have had. So to me, I think it's almost like fresh legs. You have an injury prone James Conner, you have a young Trey Benson. Like, all right, let's see what, if Algier ends up becoming our guy from week 9 to week 17, hell yeah. Uh, I mean, we talked about it pre-show. This is the best division in football right now. And they don't really, I mean, other than maybe the Seahawks taking a little bit of a backslide because it's hard to maintain a Super Bowl run, but it's hard to predict that any of these teams get way worse this year. So, um, to me, I think the Cardinals are trying to feel things out. I mean, they don't have a quarterback right now, so yeah, that's why you have two veteran running backs and you have a young running back, and you just see where the chips fall in training camp and who earns what spot and go from there, basically. New coaching staff, you got to have options, especially in the run game like that. You don't want to just have like a bunch of unproven young pieces or things like that. But yeah, I think this was smart for the Cardinals. It's a sneaky smart pickup because he could get kind of the recognition he was never going to have in Atlanta with Bijan. It's similar to Demo's deal. It's like, and I mean, Demo is definitely going to be the guy, I think, when he gets there, but this gives Algier a chance to prove he could be.
So, Toph, before you go, I want to basically phrase a bunch of questions to you and kind of respond to this however you want to. Um, I personally do not understand this signing at all. It makes no sense to me. We talked for a brief sec before the show started, and I want you to answer this too of who you think the Cardinals are going to draft. But I know that we all kind of were in agreement on the fact that like this is probably going to be a busted year. With the fact of like Kyle just said, the other three teams in the division are amazing. I don't understand if we think it's going to be a busted year. Why do you spend money on a running back that's not a running back one necessarily? While you have James Conner and 1,400 other running backs, we got James Conner, we got Trey Benson, we got DeMarcado. If DeMarcado is still there, and now we add Tyler Allgeier to just make it to where you got a whole team of running backs. I don't understand the point of it. So I'm curious what you think to that point, and also to who you think that they're going to wind up taking in the draft.
Really quick, what exactly was James Conner's injury last year? Was it just ACL?
It was
Or
a
was it like
season
Achilles or
ending.
something?
Yeah, it was something with
I
the
know. I
leg.
don't remember exactly which one it was.
Yeah.
I can
Um.
look it up for you.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll
James.
kind of do my rant there. Like I said, I think it's. I don't understand why Connor got
The ankle.
reworked for. Ooh,
It
boy,
twisted
okay,
underneath him. Yeah.
okay. That's about. I mean, Connor's been he's been toting that thing for a long time because he was the one that replaced Le'Veon Bell at the peak of his superpowers. And
Yep.
then, it was that weird year where he sat out the whole entire year. And next year he went to the Jets. Who came right on in? James Conner. And he's not Le'Veon, but there was not a significant drop off in the production that he gave that team in there.
He's a
Like I said,
monster.
yeah, like I said, I was surprised how close it was. Connor, he's been that guy. I personally can't stand the guy. Like I
Why?
said, because he's like, I was a Trey Benson guy. I'm like, like he's
That's
cool, but like he's just taking up roster spots from these young cats. We can't let them eat. They can't thrive. So
hey, he's
I'm
got
not
a
sure
nose.
why.
He's got a nose for
Yeah,
an
no,
ankle.
he can play.
He a fighter. He beat
He does.
cancer. An ankle injury is
Yeah,
not shit to him.
that's true. Yeah, like I said, that man's been through a lot in his career. Doubted, he's been through it. So, like I said, you got to give him respect for that. But yeah, I just don't see the direction. Like, why would you get Algier, who,
Yeah.
as a Falcons guy, I loved Algier. But I was one of those people that I understand why they took Bijan over him. He just, had rushed for over 1,000 his rookie year. Very next year, who did they get? They got Bijan. Because when it comes to running backs, there's levels to it in there. You could be, serviceable, look good. But when we talking about, the game breakers, the McCaffreys, the Gibbs, the Bijans, there's not too many of those guys there. When you have the chance to get it, that is a huge upgrade. You got to do it in there. Because Algier can't catch the ball like Bijan can. He can't run the routes in there. He could run tough in there, but he doesn't have that same skill set those guys have in there. For the Cardinals, I think they're just, collecting talent, just kind of seeing. Obviously, Connor, he's not getting any younger. He's probably going to be gone after, this year. They've kind of seen, look at Tua. He made all that money. They cut that man. 99
Mhm.
million that you got to pay in there. So just because you got a deal does not mean that you're going to fill out that whole contract in there. Teams nowadays, they'll, whip out the Houdini, restructure some contracts, just find some money under the bed, under the couch, and then they'll find some way somehow to find a couple more dollars in there. So, like I said, contracts nowadays that don't mean nothing in there. But for Love, man, it's tough. I don't know where he's gonna go. Unfortunately, with all these teams getting running backs, every team he was meant to do, they got somebody. The Chiefs, the Cardinals, Saints, Commanders, just like they're all gone in there. Like I said, if anything, probably the Titans. If he doesn't with the Titans, he's falling out the top 10. Unless somebody just like, oh, he's still there. Let me trip to get that guy.
Real quick, a few things, really fast. You said James Conner probably gonna be gone next year. We've been hearing that for
Yeah,
5 years,
that's true.
and
Which is crazy because like most running backs don't last that long, except for him. He's the outlier.
no,
It's
literally.
a fighter.
Have you guys ever played Settlers of Catan?
I've a couple of times, but yes, I'm familiar with it.
So, Kyle, you said no.
Nah.
Great game.
If you're listening to this and you've never played it before, basically you're trying to have all these properties and you're trying to collect resources every time the dice gets rolled. And if your number is what the dice rolls, you collect collect the resources from it. If you roll a 7, there's this little thing that you pick up and you put down on someone else's properties, and then they cannot collect any resources from it until that thing is rolled. That
Hmm.
Okay.
7, that little thing that you move around, that's Tyler Algier. Wherever he goes, he's going to destroy somebody's fantasy running back.
Oh yeah, he is.
It's
Yeah.
terrible. Like, all right, now Bijan gets his touchdowns again. James Conner and Trey Benson. Have fun. Nobody's
Yeah.
eating
Yeah.
in the backfield. You might get you the whole way down there. I promise you, Tyler Algier coming in for that touchdown.
He's coming in from the 1 yard line every
For
time.
real.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I agree. I think it's just an insurance pick or an insurance grab,
Yeah.
But
it
we'll see if it pays off.
makes no sense to me. Kyle or not Kyle, I'm sorry, Toph, you just brought up Jeremiah Love, and so yeah, we're talking about that for a second before the show, and I was saying like I thought like I'm looking at the top picks, and I'm like Titans got somebody at 4. That's really the only team that needs a running back at all in the top 5, and we were kind of going back and forth on the merits of if he would be their pick and if not. And you were saying they made a bunch of other moves. I know we're still doing the running backs right now, but you want to break down what some of those moves are right now?
Yeah, let me get them pulled back up here. But like I said, it's unfortunate. It's just kind of the nature of free agency. It's a wild west. Things can change really quickly in there. Um, as of right now, let me just go back to the mock draft side of things. Like we just said, let's just go right down the line. Raiders, they got Genty. Jets, just unfortunately, refranchise tag Brees Hall. Free Brees Hall, please. Um,
Please.
the the Cardinals, they got everybody, but at the same time, they got nobody. Um, the Titans, another guy who I don't know how he's still on the team, Tony Pollard, and you got Tajay Spears, who's another guy that I was holding on for fantasy. I was like, maybe eventually he'll break free. Hell no, this man also is getting locked up. Giants, Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterboo, Browns, Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson. Commanders just re-signed Rachaad White. They still got Bill. Oof. Saints just got Trevor Etienne. Don't really need him there. Chiefs just got K Dub. The Bengals got Chase Brown, who's been a pleasant surprise. Then, like I said, you keep going down. Dolphins, they got A-Chain. Cowboys just got re-signed Javonte Williams. Like I said, if at this point,
Crazy.
if he does not go to Tennessee, he's probably going to free fall, and probably the next available person is the Vikings at 18, unless somebody said this guy's still on the board, past the Cowboys at 12. You're probably going to move on up to go get him. Now, I think the Vikings, I know they just re-signed Aaron Jones. I think that's a fantastic spot for him. But yeah, like honestly, if he doesn't go there, he's probably going to be a backup for a while, and there's no way he could be a backup.
I
So
think a
yeah, it's getting real greasy for him, unless one of those other teams comes back up.
that's what
It's
I was
always
just thinking. A
Yeah,
potential trade up to me is the Jags because you got Tootin. You just traded away
that's true.
Etienne. I think if you're gonna do it and you want to have some competition in there, make Tootin either step up against who you think is the best running back in this class, or he becomes the change of pace guy.
I just feel like that's too high of a luxury for the Jaguars. You just lost
That's fair.
Devin Lloyd, who had an amazing season for them. Receiver core could definitely use some help.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you guys have seen, Jeremiah Love run routes, but he runs route like a wide receiver does. Like he is really the black Christian McCaffrey. Maybe not like as smooth. He's more explosive, but Jeremiah Love, he is no slouch. But like I say, I just don't see where it goes. It's getting
yeah.
real greasy for him.
I think it's funny that we sit here and have conversations like this, and we talk about all of it, and then literally it's always happens on draft day. Some team is just going to do something stupid, like the Commanders are going to just reach up and grab him, even though they got somebody else. Like you know what I mean? Or
Now,
not the
it's true, but like I said,
One team might
there's
do
there's
something
levels
stupid for
to it.
sure.
Jeremiah Love is better than Rachaad White. He's damn sure better than Bill. So there's definitely a
Yeah.
huge talent gap in there. Like I said, I'm not, I wouldn't be too safe. I had Bill on my fantasy team. That boy was a headache. I've also had Rachaad White in just yearly ones. He was also a head case in there. So like I said, I do think, Jeremiah Love would thrive in Washington. But like I said, that team has hella needs. So it's just tough right now.
yeah. Reading that list is nuts, and it really doesn't.
Yeah.
There's only a few, like you said, the Vikings, maybe the Panthers, 18 and 19, and then after that, right back to people they don't need again. Like
hmm
imagine Howie Roseman do some Howie Roseman shit and figure out a way to pair Jeremiah Love with Saquon.
I wouldn't do it. It'd be really cool, like Madden wise, just to say, but he would just get jammed up. He'd probably not play
Bro,
more wide receiver.
imagine just running like a college fucking double backfield or double running back backfield we just run in read options. We're just running option plays. We're just gonna run all three of them to the right side, and Jalen Hurts either keeps it or pitches it left or right. Like,
Yeah. The only
Triple
other
option, baby.
team I could see, Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. I know you got Javonte. I know you got Jaden Blue. Who else do the Cowboys have? Malik Davis. I know you got some, but they not Jeremiyah Love.
he was
Javonte's, the Thunder, and then Jeremiyah Love would be the Lightning. And we've seen what happens when the Cowboys get, one of those guys at running back, Ezekiel Elliott. I think it was DeMarco Murray. I don't know if it's the Murray or Darren McFadden. They're like, 1,000 yards. They put Zeke real quick, like I said, because there's levels to the running back market. They're just not him.
Yeah,
that would be the only other one.
They were the team that I thought would be most likely to make that move because they're big on best available player, not need.
Yeah.
And they'll figure it out after that.
Like I said, I mean, let me ask you guys really quick. I know I don't want to spend too much time. Like, when the Lions took Gibbs, what was your guys' first initial reaction?
Honestly, pissed.
See?
Yeah.
I
look at
us
to take
How
Jalen
quickly
Carter
that
at
changed.
6. I wanted Jalen Carter at 6. And hell yeah, it did change. And
Yep.
I still look, Jalen Carter might have fixed some things that like maybe we wouldn't have had to draft Tyleek this year because we got Jalen Carter.
I think
we would have
you
never
dodged
had
a bullet.
to pick up DJ Reader. But at the same time, yeah, he's somewhat of a liability, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who is, I mean,
how many games has Gibbs won you just off of him alone?
Here's the difference, though.
He's the reason we were above 500 this year.
The reason
One of the big ones.
And I can't speak for Kyle. The reason that I was so pissed is because we were seemingly doing the same thing every 2 to 3 years. We had Kerryon Johnson, replaced Kerryon Johnson.
I forgot about him.
Immediately replaced him with DeAndre Swift. Had DeAndre Swift, immediately replaced him with Gibbs. I'm like, Can we draft something else other than running back? Can we do something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't forget Javid Best in like the 2010s, and then you got
Javid Best died on
the Lions have been on that cycle for a long time, so I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
But
we didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher for like 10 years. Who was that?
Was Gibbs the 11th pick? I think he was just outside the top. Yeah, just at the top 10. Like I said, they said the same thing about Bijan. They were like, "Why did we?" I'm the only one that said, "I will gladly take Bijan. I know what he is. I know we just had Tyler Allgeier, but they're not him. His skill set is out of this world." Like I said, when you got a chance, I know running back's a luxury thing, but I hate when they say that because the best teams in the league have a running back that are game changers. Christian McCaffrey changed life for the 49ers.
I got to ask, I don't want to derail too much, but how'd you feel about their 8th pick the next season? The 8th overall pick they made the next season when they picked a quarterback and they already had a quarterback.
So at first I'm like, hey, we need somebody. I saw what he did against Texas. I know he could throw the ball, but the man doesn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, you know what? I'll take it. Desmond Ridder was trash. Tyler Heineken, mega trash. Mariota, don't get me started. So the fact there was anything, you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
But he's just so 50-50, man.
Yeah, I feel
he's a gamble.
Someone we didn't write down on the list for notable moves, but since we're talking about the Falcons,
we don't have to say that.
We can bring it up. We can bring it up.
Y'all got Tua Tagovailoa.
You got the broke brain on your team, bro. How you doing?
Please talk about it.
Okay, here we go. Well, let's look at it from the division standpoint. The only place where I might get dicey is Carolina. Because Carolina be having some crazy rain. Weather be a little funky at times. Atlanta, he's in the dome. Saints in the dome. Buccaneers, it's Florida. They're going to have some good weather. You might have a crazy rain game. But like I said, Tua's main problem is bad weather. He's cooked in that one. Can't really stay healthy. Falcons have an average to above average offensive line. I don't think it's as good as people keep hyping it up, but it's also not the worst thing in the world. You got 2 lefties. Both can't, stay healthy. I definitely think with this move, pretty much Tua's going to be the starter. I think Penix sits, but I definitely think Tua's going to be our starter. So I don't love it, but we also paying that man like $1 million. Dolphins get the rest of that chance. Like I said, we ain't paying much, so It looks bad, but it's not like we paid him, 100 mil. So I'll
True.
take it. Not happy though.
You know what's so funny about this though? Of you talking about like, oh, he's playing in a dome. Let's say hypothetically, y'all get by the Panthers and get by the Bucks and make the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Your first round matchup would be amongst these options: the Lions play in a dome, but the other two
Yep.
teams that could win the division are Green
Right.
Bay and and
the
Chicago.
Bears.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's the NFC North, the NFC. We're already talking about NFC South, NFC
Yep.
East. Okay, Dallas, that can work out for you.
Dallas.
Philly,
Really
Outside.
bad.
yep.
Giants
Giants.
really bad.
Giants
Outside.
really bad, and the Commanders also really bad. All of them would be
Yeah.
terrible places to play in the winter. So then
Yep.
the place you're hoping that he plays in to play in the warmth is going to be one of the two California teams, which is going to blow
Yeah.
the shit out of
Yeah.
you. Or
It's
Seattle,
true.
the Super Bowl winners.
But hey, we
God
did beat the Rams.
True.
Prime time. It was in, ATL, Atlanta. The Falcons on primetime games.
Who was the
It was
quarterback?
Stafford.
No, who was the
Stafford
quarterback
play.
for the Falcons?
Oh, Penix.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Penix, 50-50. You don't know what you're going to get from him. He can cut, but he also looks like a deer in the headlight at times. It's like I said, it's just
You
no
still got Drake
consistency with
London,
him.
right, Spence?
What'd you say?
You still got Drake London, right?
The GOAT.
Oh, shit. I'm doing all this laughing, and that's one of my wide receivers.
Uh-huh.
As soon as
I
the
think.
Yeah.
Hey, I think he knows how to hit a number one wide receiver. Tua's shown that.
Yeah.
He might not know where his offensive line is because
Drake's
gonna
going to
everything's
get the
spinning.
ball.
As
He
soon
knows
as
where
this
the number
episode-
one wide receiver
I'm
is.
sending y'all some texts with some trades. For Drake London. Listen to this.
I'll take him back. I'll take him back.
Drake can play.
Here's why I'm forever out on Tua, and this is why maybe I'm not a good GM, because I can't unsee or unhear certain things. There are two things that stand out for me this year about Tua. He said one time that he missed Jalen Waddle wide open because he was too short to see over the offensive line. That was words out of Tua's mouth, not someone speculating. He said that. The
Yeah.
other thing, I can never unsee that game of the Dolphins versus the Pittsburgh on Sunday night, when Aaron Rodgers beat the hell out of him and didn't throw the ball the entire fourth quarter. Tua literally did not look like a competent quarterback. We could have put Kyle out there and got better production.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then,
might
like I
only
said,
go 40, but I got some good accuracy. All right.
A-Chain ain't no slouch either as a running back, so you can't say that, it's just him.
Yeah. But all right, not to do Tua too much. Let's finish these running backs real quick. Travis Etienne to the Saints. Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, we touched on it. I mean, but I think this is good for the Saints. It's a similar thing of like you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen because you still got Kamara, but he ain't getting any younger. And in a way, he can kind of be a mentor. Like Ingram was to Kamara, you can have that same thing, like kind of, restarting in a sense. And I think Etienne runs not the same, like Kamara runs like crazy, like in his own
They're pretty
way.
close.
But yeah, they're pretty similar. I think, Etienne, he showed he was a pass catcher early on in his career. They really didn't utilize him as that recently from what I can remember from their games. But he had a really good season this year. I think he earned a little bit of a contract. What is it, 3 years, 40, something like that? So I think he earned something like that to come his way, and now he's got to prove it. Otherwise, Saints got to take a cap hit.
4-year, 52 mil.
4-year, 52. God. All right.
No,
All right. They
yeah, he
overpaid
got paid.
hardcore for this guy. What are they thinking? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah, that is a lot more to invest, but I think, with the current running back market and a lot of unproved pieces out there, I think Etienne has shown, like, if you get him the right system and you've got a good quarterback, it seems, in Tyler Shuck, then he'll be all right. Also, one of the best offensive minds in the league, Kellen Moore, coaching him. So
Before Toph goes, I just want to use the Jaguars running backs as a way to show the microcosm of how fast things change in the NFL. A few years ago, maybe a year or two, people thought that Etienne was washed on his way out. Tank Bigsby would be taken over. Now, Tank Bigsby is a backup behind Saquon, locked away in the dungeons, never to be heard again from. And Etienne just got a new deal. If we go back even further than that, y'all remember James Robinson?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One amazing season. Got
He was a tank.
Never heard from again. Things come at you fast in the NFL, and it seems like you never know if they're going to come at you fast.
Really quick, I got another name. I remember Chris Carson.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seahawks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he was good for half a grip.
We're gonna talk about short careers, but impactful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
what the Seahawks do. They burn you out fast. Them Seahawks.
He had neck injuries.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, his was neck.
He had a lot of issues. I mean, Marshawn Lynch is the longest tenured.
That's why Cam Chancellor
Sean Alexander
retired early.
Yeah. Yeah, Cam Chancellor, what a dog.
Before we hit our last running back, Toph, thoughts on Etienne?
It might be just me, but I'm a huge Travis Etienne fan. I never thought, he fell off. I feel like I've been fighting for this man, especially on this podcast, just because I know his skill set. I've seen what he did for Clemson. Played with Sunshine as well too. I just like Etienne's skill set. He's not the biggest guy in the world. But like I said, he could definitely catch the ball at the backfield. He's younger than Kamara. Kamara's more like physical. But like I said, they basically have the same skill set. Just Kamara was definitely, more physical, more demanding. But like I said, I think Etienne's going to do well. Kind of like what Kyle said. He's paired with the mastermind there. We getting shucked tonight. I love, we were on that man's head, but hey, he balled out. Olave, as long as you don't throw him a hospital ball, you're good. So like I said, I'm excited to see what the Saints do, even though as a Falcons fan, those words should never come out of my mouth, but I'm sorry. But, I'm excited to see what they got.
That's how I feel every time the Vikings look good. When it's the Packers or the Bears, I always want to deny it. But every time the Vikings look good, I'm like, man, I'm excited to see them this year, Man, except against the Lions.
That's me with the Bears. As a Lions and a Packers fan, the person I should hate the most is the Bears. For living in Chicago and being amongst the Chicagoans, and them having so many players that I either like or respect or both,
And you got Caleb Williams on your fantasy team now too, so the Iceman.
Man, this guy is the biggest walking oxymoron of a football fan. Holy shit! You live in Chicago, so you got to kind of root for him a little bit. You love Detroit because it's your hometown, and you were a chosen Packers fan as a kid because Detroit sucked. What?
Justin Jefferson on one of my fantasy teams. I'm going to get all of my Lions stuff and just start getting jerseys that say NFC North.
Yeah.
You ever seen them them half and half jerseys? He gonna have one of all 4 teams.
Get one split into 4s. Yeah.
I am. That is definitely my favorite division of football, NFC
Oh,
North.
it's a good division right now.
And we'll talk about it in a second. But before this year, we were supposed to have, Kyle, our championship-winning Michigan quarterback as their quarterback. So there's stuff to like about all of the teams in the NFC North.
True.
Okay, last one, and you have him in fantasy and dynasty. If for the record, if you're listening to us talking about this, you're like, how do you have someone in fantasy right now? It's the offseason, dynasty leagues. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you ain't in dynasty league, I don't know what you're doing.
Rico Dowdle, Steelers.
Yeah, buddy. This is only one of the pieces that I think is going to pay off for me in this free agency move. Right, these free agency moves right here. Steelers have a great run game. I think they've all but given up on Jaylen Warren. Is Gainwell back?
No, Gainwell left.
Perfect.
I think
he's going to take the
Buccaneer.
exact same role. Yeah, perfect. Wait, if not even a bigger one.
Yeah. I think that happened today or yesterday. 2-year, $14 million.
That's fantastic as a Rico Dowdle owner. He doesn't have to worry about who was he on there. Was it no, that's Tennessee. Who was the other guy he was dealing with last year in Carolina?
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard. Thank you.
Shout out Booger.
Yeah, you don't got to
Shout out
deal with
Booger,
Chuba. I think
Hold on,
Rico.
hold on. I'm so sorry. Not Booger McFarland.
Yeah, get your joke out. Go ahead.
Boomer. I'm about to say Boomer. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Booger McFarland.
Oh man,
not Booger. I said Booger by mistake. I meant Boomer.
But yeah, no, I think.
That's not his name either, is it? That's not his fucking. What's his name?
Who are you thinking of?
The guy that does the fastest 3 minutes.
Chris Boomer.
Boomer is his nickname. Chris Berman.
Yeah.
Chris Berman.
Is his. Yeah.
I call him Chris Boomer. Yes. Well,
yeah.
Wow.
You good? You good? Hey, just so
Old
everybody
age.
knows, it's like
Dementia
2
kicking
a.m.
in.
Michigan time, 1 a.m. Spencer's time. We live in large right now.
I say Chris Boomer. All
Chris
due disrespect to me. Call it in right now.
Yeah.
I should know.
You called him the lamest fucking color commentator in the world.
That's bad.
Anyways, where were we? I'm totally lost now.
You're going about Rico.
Okay,
Basically,
Rico.
all giving up on Jalen Warren. I got you.
So
reel him back in.
Yeah, I think this is great because going into last season as a fantasy owner of him, there was that big question mark of like who's going to be the starter, and he really had to split time till Chuba went down in like week 4, and then Rico had that big, like those big 4 weeks or whatever. I think the Steelers saw that and they're like, all right, this is gonna be the guy we burn to the ground now because we're gonna get every lick we can out of him while he's still got it. I think that's what they're going with, and I'm choosing to believe that. But yeah, I think this is great for their run game.
I got 2 main points for this. First one, I just want to say we want to talk about Trey Benson being stuck. Caleb Johnson, this man ever gonna see the field? I'm gonna hold on to him for maybe one more year. He didn't do another thing last year, so now I mean Rico, I get it. If you're gonna have Aaron Rodgers, bringing it back one more time. I mean Rico, I think I think it was like 3 or 4 years. He absolutely exploded. Pause. I think it was like the Cowboy game. He had to get his get back, and he let them have it. I like Rico. I think Rico's got, good burst, explosive. Definitely, a huge switch up from Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. So I like it. You went and got Pittman as well, too. So if you're going all in, it makes sense. You didn't pay him, a crazy amount of money. So well, let that man tote that thing. Go all in, put your chips in there. Let it happen, Pittsburgh. I ain't mad at you.
Hey, it's crazy that they went and got Pittman. They got oh my god, my brain's not working. They got Pittman. They got Dowdle. They may be just Aaron Rodgers and the Mike Tomlin away from actually making some noise this season. All right, so on to some of the notable moves. We have the Unk. We got Travis Kelce. I don't know if you can see his jersey up here. We got Travis Kelce back for one more season.
Travis Swift.
Travis Swift. We've got, here's an interesting one. Y'all remember when Josh Allen really needed some weapons and the front office said, hey, we got you. We got wide receiver number 1, Amari Cooper. And not a damn thing happened with Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Toph, is DJ Moore more of the same, or is he going to change life?
No, like I said, they've been throwing DJ Moore's name under the mud. Talk about he's not a wide receiver 1. I think DJ Moore, he had that crazy year with the Bears when he had Justin Fields throwing him the ball. One thing I like about DJ Moore, he's explosive. He can run the ball. After the catch, he's good. You just seen he had one of the nastiest plays against the Packers when Caleb Williams threw that dime of a ball, put the hands back in there, said, yep, I'm call game on this one. DJ Moore is definitely going to change life for the Bills. You could throw him, a flare, a screen. He might take that boy to the house. You pair him with, Shakur. He just re-signed Dawson Knox. You still got Dalton Kincaid. We don't know what we about to get at Keon Coleman. Ocho, he's going to bring him to the workshop. To be fair, everybody that came to the workshop has balled out the very next year. So if they could get him right, you pair him with DJ Moore and Khalil Shakur in the slot, James Cook, Superman. I think he got a recipe to do something. It's like I said, it can't get no worse than what it was.
Kyle?
Yeah, I think this is you're finally giving Josh Allen a clear number one, and if you're a dynasty fantasy owner, then keep DJ Moore right now, or buy DJ Moore right now, because I think this is going to be potentially a career year for him. Bradley Chubb, they're kind of doing exactly what they did with Von Miller a couple of years ago. Is like, yeah, he's still good. Let's see what we can still get out of him. And I mean, I don't even want to say still good. I should say he's still great. Let's see how long we can keep him good and healthy. So I don't think it's a bad move. You needed somebody to get to the quarterback. Yeah, I think the Bills did well with a couple of honestly big moves like that. I think us here in Detroit would wish upon our GM to do in free agency, but he's just so set on the draft as far as big splashes go. But yeah, I think this was exactly what the Bills needed in a way. And
the DJ Moore situation is kind of one of the most puzzling situations in the NFL to me. You had DJ Moore, who was kind of slept on in Carolina, then all of a sudden at the end of his Carolina stint burst onto the scene. He goes to the Bears. The Bears are like, all right, perfect. This is our guy. We need DJ Moore to be DJ Moore that we think he can be on this pedestal. And it's kind of been very up and down. You've had games where it's like, yo, is he active today? Is he on the field? And then you've had this season, you had the flea flicker. You had the huge both. I think it was both throws against the Packers game too to DJ Moore. So you've had the highest of the highs with DJ Moore, but you've also had him almost certainly being the reason that Caleb Williams threw that game-losing pick in the playoffs to the Rams. DJ Moore stopped running his route for whatever reason, and that ball kept going right to a Ram. And as many times as I've watched that back, to me that was a DJ Moore mistake, not a Caleb mistake. So yeah, it's just been very ups and downs with the whole situation. And then the Bears, almost everyone in Chicago knew that he had to go after this season because you had Luther Bird, you had Colson Loveland, you had
Rome,
etc. So it seemed like DJ is the oldest guy there. Probably got to go. Him going to the Bills probably will be the best. Arguably the best receiver that Josh has played with because he had Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs at his peak might have been a little bit better. DJ Moore has played on some terrible teams before, has not shown any diva in him, but that motor be disappearing at weird times. So it was very interesting to see, I guess, how that's going to wind up working over in Buffalo. And it seems like Buffalo is just cursed. Like, whatever works somewhere else, it gets here and just turns to shit. So I'm hoping that now while we've got DJ Moore on his, I think, third stop, he's not too old to give Josh what he needs. I think that it's one of those situations where it's going to be boom or bust. Either this is going to be amazing and they make magic, like Kyle said, it's going to be a career year, or for some reason we're going to look at it every week and go, what's going on?
Really quick, DJ Moore is still only 28.
Okay. Not old for a receiver, but old as hell for a running back.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works.
He must have came in at like 20 then.
We keeping it in the NFC North. We've got Kobe Bryant signed to the Bears. And was there one more? No, I think that was it. I think that's it for the Bears.
I'll pull it back up really quick, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Toph, you think that Kobe is going to be very impactful for them or no?
Yes. Kobe Bryant, was just on the Seahawks Super Bowl team. Signed 3-year, $40 million. Kobe, he could play. He's got that pedigree. Okay, not that Kobe. Spelled a whole lot differently, but he's got the Kobe name. They also got Devin Bush, who at one time was A very impactful linebacker. You got Neville Gallimore to kind of short some of that interior defensive line, which they definitely want to do. You also got Garrett Bradbury from the Patriots. So you got you a center. You also picked up Jedrick Wills, who at one point was one of the best tackles in the NFL from the Browns. Then you re-signed some other linemen you already had, Braxton Jones, Jordan McFadden. So like I said, you're definitely in that, win now mode. Um, you know, your guy's favorite head coach, ex-Lion. He loves that 12 personnel. He's going to want to have two tight ends. He wants to control the line of scrimmage. So offensively, he just wants to push you off your spot, exert your dominance, move a man against his will, win the trenches. As you've seen, you had Swift. He did his thing. I don't think any of us are, crazy Swift fans, but obviously, they got a game plan. They want to execute it. Yes, they got Khalif the Thief Raymond, who also was on that Lions team. So, like I said, I think the Bears, they're set up. That division is tough. The Rams are no easy push. The Eagles should be back. So, like I said, the NFC is no pushover. The NFL has talent all over. Anybody can beat you any given Sunday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday. I feel like we play a game almost every day of the week now. But I like where the Bears are going. You got to keep building. You got to protect, the Iceman. He is the future judge, jury, executioner. As far as the Bears are going to go, the Iceman's going to take them.
They also, just in other notable news, did lose Tremaine Edmonds, and I believe there was their center retired. So a few other moves in the NFC North. The Packers got Zaire Franklin, and Javon Hargrave. Either of you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, like I said, I know the Packers are kind of retooling, the defensive line. I know you lost was the old time ends that they had for the long time. I can't remember their names, but I know one went to the Vikings. No, not Rashawn Gary, the other ones. It was like Preston Smith. Who's the other one here? Long time ago.
It was two Smiths.
Yeah. Zadarius Smith. There we go.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I know you still got Micah Parsons, Javon Hargrave, still one of the better interior defensive tackles there is. Really good against the run, can also rush the pass as well, too. Zaire Franklin, one of the best interior will linebackers, only from the Colts. He's not going to get younger, but he could still play. Then you got Benjamin St. Juste, former commander. He can play as well, too. So, like I said, in terms of, the Packers, I think the biggest thing is keeping Jordan Love, healthy. You lost Romeo Doubs, but, I know, Dose maybe isn't too, happy about that. Yes. But I think, for the Packers, kind of what I was telling him, I think Romeo Doubs, he's a good wide receiver, but I think he's limited in his skill set and his athletic ability. For some reason, you wanted to have Golden do nothing but end arounds and screens for pretty much the whole season until the playoffs. And I know Christian Watson can stay healthy, but there's not too many guys that are 6'4", can run a 4.35, and as talented as he is. So like I said, I understand it from, just a talent standpoint. You want to get the best players out there. I mean, Golden definitely has to develop. I think Watson, he's played with, Rodgers. He can do what he does, but he definitely has to, build a rapport with this team. But I like, getting the best talent possible on the field at all times. And like I said, you still got Jaden Reed as well, too. So I think if you're going to keep those three, I think you're set. And I think Wicks is still there as well, too. So they already got a million receivers. Tucker Craft coming back. So y'all be fine.
Yeah, as a Packers fan, I'm pretty pissed about Romeo Doubs being gone. You've got Christian Watson, can't stay healthy. You've got Tucker Craft coming off of an injury. And Golden has proven absolutely nothing. It was nice for me to always know that Jordan Love, whenever he gets in danger, Romeo Doubs is going to show up. It's that security blanket. It's underrated for a quarterback.
Really quick, can I make a point?
Yeah.
You're a Packers fan, so I'm pretty sure you probably remember this. You remember when Devontae Adams, before he was that guy, and everybody left and he had to be that guy and he struggled? What happened that next year? He became Devontae Adams. Like I said, I think the Packers, one thing I don't like is I feel like they get all the receivers, but they don't pan out year one, which we should have known because I hyped Golden up. I glazed the hell out of that man the offseason and, made me look real bad. It's like I said, for some reason the Packers like want to put you like as a red shirt, and just kind of like not let you really play their first year, but then those next couple of years, you take off. So I think unfortunately Golden had to go through that red shirt year. Like I said, I definitely get it. You know Romeo Doubs, he was there forever. You could count on him. And the unknown of Golden is scary. Like I said, for some reason the Packers always do this. So like I said, year two usually takes off. Year three, you're really gonna be golden. No pun intended there.
Hey, you might be right. It's just sad for me to see my big headed boy go.
Yeah, no, I think the getting rid of Dobbs was what they needed to do. I think he was being used almost as a crutch for J Love. It was arguably his favorite target. I mean, he said it in an interview one time that that's like his most trusted receiver,
And
and
you got
in a
rid of him.
way, well, but whoa, whoa, whoa. But I think that's good because I don't think he should be his most trusted receiver. I think you need somebody better out there, somebody more consistent, somebody not getting hurt, a possession guy. Like, I mean, honestly, Jaden Reed is probably your most reliable target right now, as far
Him
as
or
like
Kraft.
yeah, Kraft. I mean, yeah, if I'm just talking strictly receivers, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, Kraft is probably he's definitely he should be the crutch. He should be the guy like he had. What did he have, a 16 reception game or a 14 reception game this year? Like, dude
He
went
was
crazy
eating.
in a couple games this year, so he should be your security blanket, and then you should utilize the speed and the skill of Golden, Watson, Wicks, and Reed. Like, those are four great names that have put up some great numbers in the past. So yeah, I think getting rid of Dobbs is gonna force Love to propel past just looking for 87. You know?
Let me say this, be very clear about this. I don't disagree at all with the fact that the other guys are probably more talented. And if things all go according to plan, we could see some much more high flying offense from the Packers. I don't disagree with that at all. I just don't want it to be overlooked that it's something to be said about when you are on third down or have to go for it on fourth down, you know that Romeo Doubs got your back. That's all.
I
That's
think
all I'm
Jaden
saying.
Reed
True.
was that person, but like I said, he was pretty much hurt all year.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like, so Romeo Dobbs, he's consistent. But another point, which, I tell you guys all the time, are these contracts, man. They come up real, real quick, and you don't have time to be, Dobbs is that guy, but you also know he's limited. Golden, these receivers are getting $35 million a year. It's only going to keep going up and up and up. So as they reset the market,
True.
you can't be playing around with like that, because Golden, he could have a 5th year option. If you're not sure, by like year 2, year 3, you should know. Because like I said, you got to get Kraft, Love. He's going to get more deals, and then like I said, they're going to get more and more expensive, and you just don't have time to be worrying about the unknown. You have to know right then and then and now. In case you got to do like another reset.
I do
So I think
think that
contract plays a big part as well too.
I do think that a Romeo Dobbs will do very well for helping stabilize in
Yeah.
moments of badness, like you saw in the Super Bowl for Drake May. Like once again, I don't think
Oh
he's
yeah.
going to go over there to be
100%.
like the greatest receiver in the world, but I think that he's going to help stabilize when things go poorly. Let me, as Drake May, go over to Romeo Dobbs, which is probably part of why they got him over there. Um,
Yep.
Wound up being a lot of information, and we wound up doing about a 2 hour episode. So we're going to release this in 2 parts. You're watching the end of part 1 right now. Tune in tomorrow for part 2. Peace.
Peace.